Now let's talk about the relationship between the mean and the median. If a distribution is skewed, the mean is pulled in the direction of the skew. So you can see here in red, this is a left skewed function, and you can see that this mean is getting pushed in this left direction. And that's because there's going to be some type of outlier here that's really, really low that's going to pull the mean towards in the negative direction. Now, if the mean is positively skewed, so if we have an outlier that's to the right-hand side, then the mean is going to be pulled to the right more. But again, you can see this median is really not as affected. So this is why when we're dealing with symmetric data, we typically use you can use either the mean or the median, but typically we usually stick with the mean. And when we're talking about skewed data, we typically stick with the median. So let's look at an example, a distribution shape. Suppose a sample of 6 children's height has a mean of 55 inches and a median of 45 inches. Do you expect the distribution to be skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? Well, let's just kind of look at what this would look like on a number line. So if I draw a number line 30, 40, 50, and then 60. So we would place the mean is at 55, and the median is at 45. So we can see this mean is pulled to the right of the median. So this would mean that this is going to be right skewed or positively skewed. There's some larger value that's pulling that mean up higher. Let's look at another example. The net worth of America's most successful women entrepreneurs is shown below. Find the mean and the median. This comes from Forbes, November of 2020. So in this table, we have Diane Hendricks, who does roofing, net worth is $8 billion. Judy Faulkner, who's in health IT, her net worth is $5.5 billion. Meg Whitman, who's in eBay, her net worth is $5 billion. Judy Love, who owns gas stations, the Love gas stations, which you've probably seen, worth $4.7 billion. Marian Illich, who owns Little Caesars, $4.1 billion. Linda Resnick, who's in agriculture, $3.6 million. Janelle Hunt in trucking, $3.5 million. Ty Lee, an IT provider, $3.2 billion. Oprah Winfrey, which we all know from TV, $2.6 billion. Doris Fisher from The Gap, $2.4 billion. Alice Schwartz, who's in biotech, $2.2 billion. And Gail Miller, car dealerships, $1.9 million. So to figure out if this distribution is skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric, we need to figure out what the mean and the median are. So in order to look at this, let's figure this out. So using either Excel or Desmos or your calculator, we'll find that the mean is $3.9 billion. And the median is $3.5 billion, 55. I really recommend that you do pause this video and go through and use whatever technology you prefer to find these mean and median, just to ensure that you're doing these formulas correctly in the technology. Now, so if I were to kind of draw this out, let's say we've got 3.5 and 4, we have the median falls about right here, and then the mean falls about right here. So again, you can see that that mean is getting pulled to the right. So this would be right skewed. And so now let's think about why. Why is this right skewed? Well, because we've got this $8 billion outlier. That is so much higher than where the rest of this data kind of falls into. So because of this because of the $8 billion outlier. It's pulling the mean up. So again, this is why it's always important. I always recommend that you ask your instructors when they pass back exams and they say what the average is, ask them if it's the mean or the median, because you're always going to have those students that do extremely well or really low, but the median will give a much better idea of where the rest of the data kind of fell into, like a more appropriate measure of that spread. For the most part, not all the time. So I don't want to say all the time, because sometimes you'll be on a bell curve, things will be graded on, which is symmetric, and that would be the mean, would be the most appropriate form of average.